Yo, what up guys, B5D here, and the champion featured in today's champion guide is from the Ox faction. This champion does look like a barbarian, but is an Ox champion. From the caption or the title, you can already tell it is Sandlash Survivor, a champion who has been in raid throughout the early beginning stages and up till now. She's still viable all the way to the end game. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how she changed my account for the better in the early game. Yes, this champion is built and 60'd. Used in my account straight up from the early game of Clan Boss and all the way right now where I'm in end game. I no longer need her services because I have legendary champions who might do the same thing she does, but I'll still show you how you can still use her in the end game or maybe in PvP content. Alright, the first thing that you should know this champion brings to the team is this skill right here, or it's a passive. It's a passive that is able to place ally protection on all your allies, but on one condition, that they lost about 50% of their HP first. So once they lose 50% of their HP, it's not even everybody that needs to do it. Even if one person's HP goes below 50%, she will place this ally protection on all the allies. And what happens when ally protection is out there? All the damage they are supposed to take, half of it, or so half of it comes to her, but she doesn't take like 50% of the damage. It is decreased by a lot, and she just takes a little bit of the damage. But guess what? She also places a block damage buff on the champions, on herself, I mean, for 1 turn. That means all that damage that is coming in is going to do nothing to her. I guess from now you can be telling that Sandlash Survivor can protect your allies who are below 50%, but it doesn't guarantee that she'll keep them alive. 50%, they are still taking 50% of the enemy damage. So even while she's protecting them with this ally protection, it's still possible to kill them. So she doesn't play block damage on everybody, right? Just like Demeter or somebody would do, so they take 0 damage. She places ally protection and block damage on herself, so they still take 50% of the damage they are supposed to take. But it helps because it keeps them alive longer. She just, cuts their damage they are supposed to take by half. If somebody is hitting you for 30k and she's just taking away 15%, 15k, and they are taking 15k, that means they'll survive if they are about 30k HP, right? So even if you're taking 50k hits and you get 25k hits, that's still an ability for you to survive and then get a ton. That is why this passive is so awesome and so cool on this champion. And this passive is most used in the end game. I'm talking about in PvP content, where you go in with a go second team, which I'll demonstrate in this video, show you this type of teams that I built to test it out in PvP content. So the enemies can go first, they go in with all their big nukes, and then you take half damage because she has just made half of the damage disappear with her block damage. All right, so that's the first thing you should know that a lot of people rely on her for. For Clan Boss, this skill is not the purpose you want her there for. It simply delays the inevitable death of your Clan Boss run. By the time the Clan Boss starts hitting for a lot of damage where people are going down left and right, she is able to help you cut it by half, place block damage on herself. But check out, this skill is on a 4-turn cooldown. That means it might not be available in the next turn where the Clan Boss is about to do a big hit, or in the next 2 turns where he's about to do another AoE big hit. So it's not a viable way of protecting against the Clan Boss hits. That's what I'm trying to say. There are other champions who do ally protection more regularly without waiting for a condition, or who do block damage like Demeter without waiting for a condition for that content. But it helps you at least for 1 turn in the Clan Boss before everything just go boom. All right, the main thing she's brought to the Clan Boss for is this A2 right here. It's able to decrease the duration of all enemy buffs. Remember, the Clan Boss puts 1 increased attack on himself. She can decrease the duration, and guess what? It turns to 0 turn and it disappears. So that's one usage of it. This requires accuracy to work out. But check out, it also increases the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. So every champion on your team who has block debuff buff, who have increased attack, increased defense, all those buffs that you put on your even continuous heal, she'll just increase the duration of those buffs by 1 turn. So that's the best thing she's best known for in the Clan Boss. Imagine a champion like this being brought into the Clan Boss just because of this A2 skill. That's how good she is. This is just an extra bonus that might happen in that Clan Boss team. So in the early game, this is the purpose Sepulchre Sentinel will be coming. Sandlash Survivor will be coming into your team right there. She's an awesome champion for this purpose, increasing the duration of all your ally buffs is not a joke. It's not like one buff or two buff. It's increased duration of all the buffs on your allies. So her A1 does have a provoke on the A1 right there. It's a 30% chance booked up to a 50% chance of landing provoke, right? It's not each hit. If the champion has no target, heals by 15% of the damage inflicted. So that's also a way that she can get healing, I guess. But this A1 provoke, it's not a reason to put accuracy on her. So I'll show you how I build this champion, then we'll discuss her stats and what you should have on her. Aura right here is increased ally defense in all battles by 25%. So in the early game, this champion will usually be in the leader slot, because I guarantee you she might be one of the best champions you have that have increased defense in all battles. So this will allow you to build your champions with less defense instead of going for 3,500 defense with increased defense and increased defense buff and everything you have. You might go for 2,600 because of her in the leader slot and the champion bringing increased defense buff. So it all adds up to your total stats to increase your defense to about what 3,500 that you even need. All right, that's her skills and what she can bring to your team in the early game and late game. So let me head over to my champion and show you how I build this champion. Sandlash Survivor was brought out of the vault for this purpose. I used to have this champion since she's a clan boss champion for the longest time. I used to have her in lifesteal. So if you're new to raid, don't just think much about it. Every clan boss champion, well, almost every clan boss champion you will use in raid belong in lifesteal sets. So you cannot go wrong with lifesteal set at that early stages where you're trying to beat the brutal nightmare or even auto ultra nightmare. A tank like this, a champion like this who needs to sustain the our allies, needs to have her own sustain. She doesn't need somebody else to rely on for healing. So that's where she is best put in lifesteal sets, and so she can be, self-sustaining. Whether in clan boss or even in dungeon content, this lifesteal set does keep her alive. Now the lifesteal set might not be the best way to go if you intend to use this champion for PvP content in the end game content. So today I took out my lifesteal set from Sandlash Survivor. Why? Because I no longer use her for my clan boss team. By the time you get Demeter and Helicat, those block damage teams, Man Eater, Unkillable teams, you push your Sandlash Survivor to the side and you will no longer use her in any content. Besides Doom Tower or Faction Wars. She's awesome in Faction Wars, so that's the only content that you might still be using this champion. She's not a Hydra champion. She's not a champion you see in the dungeons every day in Dungeon 25 for endgame content. No. Once a lot of players have that unkillable teams, they throw this champion to the side and she only features in the Faction Wars. So the same is true for me. I put her to the side once I had my unkillable team going, but today I decided to take that old lifesteal set off her and put some fresh gear on her and decide to use her in the end game content, which is going to be PvP. We'll see some battles, how she performs in that content. So what stats was I looking for the end game content? I've talked about the early game build. It's lifesteal. What stat do you need in the clan boss? Defense. So remember, you don't just put any lifesteal, any stats on her. She most likely have to be is it the last champion? Yes, the last champion in your team to take a turn. Why? Somebody places, somebody hits, decrease defense, somebody goes in, hits, somebody plays increase defense, block, debuff, buff, or even counter attack, heal reduction. Then she takes a turn and increases duration of all those buffs. So you want her to be, let's say your first champions are 190, 191, 192. She should be at 189, like just at the end of that speed. So she just use the Deadwood calculator, Deadwood arena calculator to find out which place she should be and see when she's going to be using those skills to increase the duration of the buffs so for your allies. So make sure you use that calculator to find that out. So besides that clan boss build, which we are not even going to be doing a run of the clan boss because that's early game content. If you want to see her in live action, I do have a clan boss team I built with Skull Crusher and Sepulchre Sentinel. Everybody in that same team, head over to my channel and just type clan boss killable Unkillable team or something like that, budget Ultra Nightmare team, you will find that team, I guarantee you. And you see me running the clan boss from beginning to end. So check out that content. It's already done. She's already featured there. This build is just for the end game content right now, and I'm going to be testing her straight to the PvP content. But let's look at the stats first of all. Let's flex some stats out. I'm looking for defense, and I found defense. That's the first stat I'm looking for this champion. Allied protection champions in general need high defense to survive those big hits that are coming in left, right of them, right? They are coming in, they are sucking up all that damage from the allies. So that's why I have her going at high defense for no damn reason. So of course you need allied protection champion like this not to be at 30k HP. Come on now, come on. She needs to have good HP right there so she doesn't just fall flat before everybody else goes down. She should be the last champion to go down. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, if she does take all the hits, it's okay for her to go down in the second turn. Don't let Sepulchre's Sandlash Survivor go down in the first turn. That's why she's this tanky right here. Speed, it's not important in this champion. Why? Because she relies on surviving based on that block damage. If you build this champion with high speed, 250 or 300, she'll place that block damage on herself and just take a turn immediately, and the block damage will fall off while she's at 50% or less HP, which means she'll go down the next hit that the enemies hit her when no block damage is done. And remember that her passive is on a 4-turn cooldown, so speed should be 170, 150 even if you want. So a lot of end game players who use her even in plat arena will tell you as little speed as possible. Just like UDK will rely on little speed as possible with Stone Skin, this is also what she needs to survive for a long time, while that block damage will just be on her for a long time while the enemies are running circles around her turn, so they can just exhaust all their skills and then you get a turn. So I decided to use above 200 because I wanted to use her in some dungeon content, in some Doom Tower content, in some faction war content, not just give her 150 speed and just use her only in arena. So my build is not perfectly for the arena only. I just also wanted to use her in some other content. Crit rate and crit damage is not important on a support champion like this. I know she's the defensive based champion, but her role in your team is to support your other champions. So if you can squeeze crit rate and crit damage in, do it. She does hit hard like any other champion in radio if you put crit rate and crit damage on them. Her damage is based on defense, so you're fine to hit hard if you put a lot of crit rate on her. Even if you can't squeeze in the crit damage, it's fine. So a champion that is going to be used in the arena will need a lot of resistance. Even for Doom Tower content, if that's where you want to use her, maybe for some reason. I've not seen her being used there though, but she might work with her A1 provoke for that Magma Dragon. Maybe that's some content to consider, or maybe for even Hydra, where she can use high accuracy to reduce the cooldown of those Hydra heads stealing your buff. But why would you let them steal your buff? That's the first thing. That's where resistance can come in. She does benefit a lot from resistance. Like any tanky champion you're bringing into PvP content, if you stack them high with resistance, the enemies will have a hard time killing them. So I did not put much effort into resistance. I did manage to get up to 500 resistance, but that dropped my HP to like 40k and my defense to like 3k, 4k. So I decided to sacrifice resistance for HP and defense. Now if I built 3-5 on her and 40k HP, I would have had, let's say, 400 resistance right there. So it's for you to choose which one is you want to sacrifice, or if you want to squeeze in resistance right here. So even in the PvP content, if you bring in Sandlash Survivor, a lot of people, their Madam series are at 700 accuracy. So even if you bring in 400 accuracy and resistance right here, you will still be debuffed. A lot of people are running around with Lady Kimi, who will even increase the accuracy, double the accuracy of their debuffers, and still debuff you even with your 400, 500 resistance. Although some other enemies in the enemy team will find it hard to debuff her, but debuffers especially will still be able to land it on her. That's my reason why I did not bother to squeeze in resistance into the build. But if you want to do that, test it out. It's viable for PvE content, but for PvP content, especially if you're heading towards that ending part of Gold 5, heading straight maybe closer to Platinum, a lot of people just come in there with 800 accuracy and debuff anybody who has resistance right there. All right, that's her stats. Let's head over into some battles and see what she can do. But before I go in there, remember that Lifesteal is the best set for this champion in the early game. The set I'm currently using right now reduces the damage I will take by 30%. So everybody else is taking damage and she is placing ally protection. So I want her to take less damage from those AoE hits. PvP content has a lot of AoE damage dealers who just come in there and try to wipe everybody clean, especially when you're going against teams. You look for those teams that have AoE damage dealers, which you make sure you survive. So that's what this set can do for you. Stalwart, you can also use Stalwart in the clan boss if you do have Leech or some other way of doing healing to her. So if you do not have any way of doing healing for her, Leech or other champions in the team, Stalwart will not be the best for you for clan boss, but Lifesteal is. So of course there are other sets that you can use in place of Lifesteal or Stalwart. Another one that I can think of, I've not seen a regeneration or immunity. Those ones sounds like more of a PvP and Sandlash survivor. Relentless is not great for this champion because she needs to not take so many turns. I can think of another one besides Stalwart. I think that's it. I did try to put this set on her. Where is it? I think I scrolled past it again. This set that can be obtained from the Doom Tower, one of the Doom Tower bosses, that reduces the amount of damage your allies take and gives you that damage. Where is it? Where is it? It's not deflection. Okay, these are the Guardian sets. This is the one. So if you can get good set on this champion, this is the set I have on my champion called Osoga, right? If a champion like Sandlash Survivor also deserves this type of set, if she's this tanky enough to take hits, she can, take more ally protection from the allies and use this set to also reduce the amount of damage your allies are taking. The wearer absorbs 10% of all damage dealt to ally champions, heals by 10% every turn. So that's some healing coming in right there, because Stalwart has no healing at all. So this one, if you do have enough of it, you can maybe give her, don't just give her any set, of course, look at the stats. As long as you have good high defense, high HP, you're good to go. Everything else doesn't matter. You can see me ignoring accuracy in this build is because I don't want her reducing the duration of enemy buffs. If I wanted to do anything with the enemy buffs, I'll bring in a Prince Kaima, I'll bring in a Madam Series and do what? Just take off their buffs. So for PvP content or PvE, I prefer champions who just wipe the buff away. I'm not there to reduce the duration of the enemy's buff. Or I even deal with a champion like, what's her name now? Yumeko, who just reduces their own their enemies' skills and makes them use their A1 and forget about their buffs. So there are many ways to deal with enemies who have buffs, right? And I'm saying Sepulchre's accuracy on the A2 shouldn't be one of the ways, except you're that early game where you have no choice but to put accuracy on her and take advantage of this skill. Without accuracy, it will still increase the duration of your buffs, but without accuracy, it will not decrease the duration of enemy buffs. So, but I don't think it's important, just like I don't think the A1 is important. So I'm going to be skipping out on accuracy on this build. But hey, if you can squeeze it in, it's fine. Give her 2 perception sets with your Stalwart, maybe, to get her doing her A1 to provoke and annoying the hell out of the enemies. I have other champions in the team for annoyance, and she's not the one right there. Alright, it's time for us to go to the Masteries and see. She's dealing with a normal clan boss Masteries. I've not changed her Masteries since I used that for the clan boss, so this is still the same. This champion, if you're going towards the resistance build, you might want to go towards resistance 3 right there for PvP content, of course, and select that Unkillable, right, which will even add 50 resistance. That's if you want her to be 500 resistance and you don't want her to be debuffed at all for PvP content. But if you're going towards clan boss or dungeon content, this build is fine. She does not benefit much from the support 3, except you're that crazy about the accuracy, which I just said is not that important. So do you really want to go to accuracy? She's not placing any debuff that you want to extend the duration of. She's not placing any buffs that you want to increase the duration of. So she doesn't benefit much from the support 3. That's just the truth. So defense and offense is the best way to go for her. And since she's using her A1 most of the time, when her A2 is down, she'll be hitting a lot with War Master and healing herself back up if you have life steal on her. So that's the mastery on her, a long time mastery. I've not changed it, and I'm sure on the Hellhead website it will should still be the same since 2021 till date. This mastery is still valid for this champion. All right, I've talked a lot about her, hyped her up, or devalued her a little bit. Let me take you into the content which I built her for right now in this video, and that is the arena. If you came for dragon content or clan boss content, like I said, I already have a beginning to the end video about her running the clan boss. Check out that video on my channel and just watch it to the end. Let me try this team and see. I've already put her into a team that looks like they are supposed to go second. Yes, whether you want to put your Duchess first, I just wanted to put this champion here to increase my attack a little bit right here. But what is she doing right here? She's going to be decreasing the amount of damage that your allies take. That's what she's here for. She's also in the back slot. Remind me, does she need to be in the first slot or the back? I know that for Vogot to do his healing to all the allies, he needs to be at the back. So maybe the same thing applies to her, right? Or she needs to be in the front and take the damage first. I don't think so. I think she needs to be at the back. So once she notices anybody is going below 50%, she can then proc that block damage. But let me know if I'm correct about that. I know that for Vogot, it needs to be at the back. It matters the order that you place this champion up. Don't just put her anywhere in the order and expect her to be great in terms of the damage she's soaking or who goes down. You'll be like, but Sepoka is on the team. Why did they die? It's because of where you placed her, I guess. All right. I hope I'm doing it right. But she's here to protect. The most important champion on my team is my damage dealer. This champion is here to cleanse if we have debuffs on us. That's what's her name, Mitrala Life Bane. She's there for the cleanse. And Duchess also does have a passive that's kind of like reducing the amount of damage that I'm taking. So that will also help Sandlash. You can also pair Sandlash Survivor with a Vogot. That's a crazy pair right there, healing and block damage, and it's a crazy pair. You can also pair with Osoga the War Caller, just like I said. So it's basically everybody is here to keep this champion alive. Once he takes a turn, the enemies are dead. That is what a go second team looks like. And I just clicked my Duchess away, so it's gonna be difficult to find her now because she's not at full 60. She's still about 53 or something. Let me just scroll to 53. There she is, 58. All right, let's run the battle, and they will go first, of course, because they have a leader slot who has speed, and they'll do their big hits and all that. And let's see if we're gonna actually survive it. Remember, she doesn't have enough resistance to resist every debuff that is gonna be coming in my way. Let me slow down the battle. That's our autometer decreased. I do have my Mitrala in a set that allows her to immunity set, so she doesn't get any debuff if her resistance is not okay. You see, Sandlash Survivor did proc. She did proc it. I didn't even take notice of it. That's it, the block damage. And guess what? It's still not her turn. She has not taken a turn. That's why that slow speed is important right there. And now that she's taking a turn, she's now vulnerable. Even without putting much accuracy on my team, I was still able to land a little bit of what do you call it, provoke on this particular champion, which is nice. And that's it. If you can stay alive long enough to survive all their hits and or whatever they are doing to you, you will eventually go in there and win the battle. All right, let me do one more battle and find out if it's going to work out the same way. This time we're going for another team. They do have two champions who possibly could nuke us down, but hopefully, if you don't have a Mitrala, you can use other champions who can do a cleanse to make sure that debuffs don't take you down. I'll still leave it in 1 speed. How are we faster? How is Mitrala faster than what's her name? Abita. Damn, the Abita is so slow that Mitrala is faster than her. Alright, let me see the big hits coming in. Woo! That's not good. That's not good. they targeted this champion so much. So when she is targeted, you can clearly see she had nothing to keep herself alive. She couldn't survive that big hit. She couldn't even proc her block damage right there. But if others are attacked, that's when her block damage is procced. Provoke? No. So if she's attacked, of course, when I see Sandlash survivor in a team, I do kind of go for her first and try to kill her off so her passive is not procced. And these days we have Ronda, we have other champions who can actually, you know, block your passive. So it's not like this is the best way to play Raid. It's just that it's one of the ways to use a go second team with her right there in the team. So if you do not have an Osoga the War Caller, you don't have Vogot, you don't have other champions who are capable of, you know, stopping the enemies from coming in and hitting you so hard. Let me try this team. Basically, I'm going for teams that I know will obviously go first. Arbiter teams most of the time, so you know you can survive their big hits. You have a high resist cleanser to cleanse and then come back into the battle. So a champion who was originally used in clan boss only, now she has block active skills, not block passive skill on her, right? Big hits is about to come in. Can we cleanse? She has been stunned. Woo, we survived it with the, you see right there, she placed that block. We survived it. She was the only reason why my this Nuka survived and we can finish the work. She's the only reason why he survived that hit. I put it in 1 speed so you can see how that works. So without her in the team right there, he would have gone down straight up. No doubt about that. So that's what she brings to your team. The same thing happens if you're running this champion in PvE content like the clan boss. Of course, put her, in dungeons also, put her in the leader slot. I put together this sample team right here, but I'm not going to run it because it's all also the same thing. I put together this sample team right here. That's it. So increase defense and all that. She's just here. I put together these 2 people that I know will be squishy and go down, but I don't think I have enough time to run it again. So I wanted to see when Cold Heart will be so hit so hard that she'll almost die, and Sandlash Survivor will just proc and protect her. But test it out. Build high tanky. She will keep your team alive, of course. Put her in the right slot, like I said, not in front here like I did it right here. All right, that's the build for Sandlash Survivor. That's her masteries. That's her possible artifact sets that you can put on her, and the areas where she's commonly used in the early game clan boss, in the late game tanky go second PvP teams. Let me know which content you use her in right now and how you built her. Are you still in lifesteal even in the end game, or you have another set that she's currently thriving in? So I don't have a team put together right now to test her in the clan boss or anything, but I do have a clan boss run for Sandlash Survivor with Sepulchre Sentinel, with Skull Crusher. Or check out, maybe I'll put the link to that video in the description so you can check it out and watch if you're building up for the clan boss. All right guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hit that like button for me in this video if it helps you out, or if you even enjoy this content. I do rate Shadow Legends content on every day, so make sure you subscribe if that's the first time you're watching this channel. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Later guys.